Hi, everybody. Welcome to another Chats with Chaudhry. I hope you're safe and well. The sun is shining outside of my window, and I can see it shining with my guest today because this room is nice and bright. And today I'm delighted to be joined by Huzefa Rupawala. We never practiced your name beforehand,
Yeah.
actually, so I'm hoping I got it right.
Yeah.
Who is the brand director at Hanson for the mRNA brand portfolio at Hanson. And today we are previewing the upcoming mRNA-based Therapeutics Summit, which has been held in Boston and is running at the end of this month on July the 26th to 28th. And I thought, what a great opportunity. I'm hopefully going to be attending myself. And I thought I'd learn a bit more about the event. So, Huzefa, first of all, it's lovely to meet you. How are you?
Yeah, very well, Rizwan. How about yourself?
I'm very, very good. It's a Friday and I'm on holiday next week. So it's all very, very good. Now, before we start talking a lot more about the actual event itself, for people not familiar with Hanson Wade's mRNA, if I get my dentist in right, brand portfolio, what does it consist of? And then let's talk a bit more about the event itself.
Yeah, great. So at Hanson we have an mRNA portfolio covering multiple areas, essentially, that the community are working on. This ranges from therapeutics to process development and manufacturing, quality control, analytics, to one of our latest events, including an mRNA cancer vaccine summit coming up later this year as well. So yeah, a whole host of great mRNA focused events, both with technical insights that we're looking to host for you guys later this year.
Fantastic. Now, obviously, mRNA, because of COVID and the vaccine development, really came to the fore. So tell us a bit more about the mRNA-based Therapeutics Summit, which is obviously this month. And that, I know it's in its third iteration. So tell me a bit more about that. Why did you launch it and how has it developed since you launched it?
Yeah, it's a really interesting one. So the mRNA-based Therapeutics Summit first was conceptualized during the pandemic itself. That's when the boom occurred, when Pfizer and BioNTech and Moderna had established their COVID-19 vaccines using mRNA technology. And so we established that meeting to begin with. And since then, it has grown year on year, both in size and in content as well, to it now being the premier industry dedicated forum for the mRNA community, the likes of innovative biotechs and large pharma, as well as like key stakeholders now. And it's all about unlocking the next wave. So, at the time when we first established the meeting, it was all about COVID-19. Now what we're talking about is looking beyond COVID-19 at new waves of efficacious mRNA therapeutics and vaccines, new indications such as oncology and rare diseases, but really expanding into new areas and applications and tools of mRNA as well.
Right. Well, you sort of touched upon it a little bit just there in your sort of overview, but who are the typical delegates and sponsors and exhibitors who tend to be at this event?
Yeah, so we have a whole host of delegates that normally attend. We anticipate normally C-level executives right down to the scientist level. Majority of them are coming from large pharma organizations such as Pfizer, Sanofi, AstraZeneca, and many others, to biotech companies as well. The likes of Moderna, BioNTech, and many others.
Sure.
Their roles kind of delve right early from discovery into preclinical and clinical development, even from the manufacturing and process teams. And we're now seeing even more regulatory teams getting involved as we look for the next approval that goes beyond COVID-19 as well.
Right. Okay. And in terms of tracks, as I said, this is the third year. So what are normally the core tracks within the event? And also, what new tracks have you added for this year and why?
Yeah, so historically, this meeting had three main tracks or buckets of content, if you could say. This included discovery, preclinical and clinical development, and manufacturing. And just over the last year, we've seen immense growth when it comes to that end-to-end, going right from discovery all the way through to commercialization. We're seeing more candidates moving from that preclinical stage into clinic as well, which has meant we can be a bit more creative in how we develop our meeting as well. And so this year we've kind of revamped it into a 5-track agenda that covers areas of discovery, translation. So if I was to say discovery, looking at mRNA design through to delivery, translation, we're talking about animal models and how new areas of therapeutics are now entering that preclinical development stage. Clinical development, we're going to be having impressive talks from Moderna, updating us on their COVID-19 development pipeline, as well as talks based on oncology indications that are now in the clinic as well. So among new infectious disease areas that are now being explored as well. We've also got a CMC track that delves into some of the manufacturing and process developments. and key considerations when it comes to analytics and quality measures, as well as a brand new logistics track that delves into that global distribution piece, that supply challenge, that when it comes to either serving millions or even billions of doses worldwide, or when it comes to more personalized medicine and how we can not only combat that with enough resources, but also the distribution to be able to do that too.
Right, great. Now, who are some of the key speakers then that you've got at the event?
Yes, at this event, we've got a whole host of speakers. In fact, over 100 of them. They're ranging from the likes of Moderna, BioNTech, CureVac, Pfizer, Sanofi, AstraZeneca. The list goes on. There are so many players in this field. One thing I'd love to highlight is we have an incredible fireside chat taking place on day one, where we have C-level leaders from the likes of Sanofi, Orbital Therapeutics, Pfion Therapeutics, Arvac Medicines. The CEO of CureVac will hopefully be participating as well. So a really great panel lineup ahead of the summit.
Right, okay. Now, apart from the sessions themselves, and obviously you have an exhibition running alongside this as well, how else or what else can attendees who are attending the event expect to get out of the event in terms of not just the sessions, but what else do you do to engage them and get them involved in the workshops, etc.?
Yeah, of course. So there's a huge opportunity at this meeting, being the flagship core meeting, that the opportunity to network, forge meaningful and long-lasting connections. And so we want to be able to encourage that across the 3-day meeting. So we actually have a pre-conference day in addition to the main days that delves into a pre-conference focus day on next generation mRNA-mediated technologies, that delves into gene editing, cell therapies, as well as synthetic biology. In addition, we have a workshop day that really is going to deep dive into, firstly, drug delivery, so looking at LNPs and even beyond, so newer delivery vehicles that are coming into play. We're going to be delving into circular RNA as a different modality that could be used compared to the traditional linear mRNA, but also creating an analytical toolbox. We know how important analytics is across the process, and so we'll be delving a little bit more into that with our speakers. So lots of opportunity for added content as well as engagement across the 3-day meeting.
Right, and obviously you said you launched the event during COVID. Now, obviously that meant it was obviously virtual during that period. Now I know, having worked with lots of other event organizers and yourselves as well, that a lot of organizers have sort of moved away from the virtual element, so to speak, and are almost either 100% in person, or are making the content available on demand, subject to obviously approval from the speakers and so on. So how does it work in terms of your events, in terms of the virtual or on demand element of it?
Yeah, definitely. The first event, which took place back in COVID, it was the first virtual event. Obviously, we were all at home, so it was a great way for us to be able to connect with those
Sure.
working in the mRNA industry, albeit virtually. What we did see is that, going past the COVID-19 pandemic, everyone really wanted to get back into the room. And actually 2022 is when we first initiated the first in-person second mRNA-based Therapeutics Summit. And we actually had over 300 key stakeholders attend in person. And since then, we've continued our efforts to make it a wholly in-person event, just because we know the value of creating sort of in-person connections, as well as meeting, your peers that you may have not have over the last year as well. So it's a great opportunity to re-engage with key collaborators, key partners, and even friends from the community too.
Right. So is it any of the element though available on demand post event, or is it still going to be, if you're there, great, if you're not, you can't see it, or obviously there's more than one session. Will there be any on demand elements to the event at all?
So what we will do is we will provide post-event content to attendees. So if they do want to kind of recheck some of the sessions or unable to make, attendance at many of the tracks, we'll provide post-event content and materials or slides essentially. But this is all pending speaker permissions, of course.
Fine. Okay. Now, finally, and this is the final question I'm going to ask you then, pitch them. People, obviously, I'm sure a lot of people have already booked. In fact, how many people have already confirmed, and how many exhibitors and sponsors have you got already confirmed?
Yeah, so we have over 400 attendees set to be there in Boston together in one room, essentially. And in terms of sponsoring exhibitors, we have over 45, including our lead partner, Resilience. So we're really excited to have a wide range of expertise covering, some of the expert solutions in the field that really they are the ones that are committed to driving the next generation of mRNA vaccines and even therapeutics forward. We're going from raw materials through to manufacturing processes, new drug delivery technologies, and even helping you develop right from discovery all the way to commercialization. So a whole host of people will be joining the meeting in just 3 weeks' time.
All right. So then, for those people who have not committed yet, though, and there will be a few, I'm sure, why should people attend the mRNA-based Therapeutics Summit this month?
Of course. So, well, like I said, this is truly the premier industry dedicated and actually most comprehensive forum, bringing together the key leaders in the mRNA space to really talk about where the future of this field is going, but highlighting where we are at the moment, where those clinical endpoints are, what the next approval is going to look like, and what the future trajectory of this field is going to be. We've got the likes of Moderna, BioNTech, CureVac, Sanofi, Pfizer, Recode, and many other key companies that are truly invested in the space. And so this is a huge opportunity, not only for a learning opportunity, a sharing opportunity, but also for this to be the roadmap for you to get on board and join the conversation. So if people wanted to book on, they can basically get in touch with us or even through our mRNA-based therapeutics website as well.
Brilliant. Well, Huzefa, thank you very much for giving me that overview. So there you go, viewers. If you have not booked yet for the mRNA event and you are involved in that space, would like to learn more, then check out the link above this video. You can learn more about the program and the tracks, and obviously you can sign up and register for the event. You've still got 3 weeks. It's not too late yet. And if you'd like to know more about the other events, then actually click on the other link I'll put up there, which is about the other events in the portfolio, and you can have a look at what other events are. Maybe if July doesn't fit in your timetable, you might see something later in the year which might fit, or the location might be more convenient to you. So Huzefa, once again, thank you for your time. It's lovely to see you. Hopefully I'll see you in person at the end of the month. And viewers, thank you for watching. As always, until next time, stay well and stay safe. Bye-bye.
Okay.